Episode 20 of the Tom and Gerry show. They said we would never make it, Tom. They said we shouldn't attempt it. They told us to go home, but here we are.
Only a handful more than the Fast and Furious franchise. So we're going all right. If Ludacris doesn't show up, everything should stay together. It'll be all right.
It should be all right. We're ludicrous enough for the whole thing. And how are you all keeping? Welcome along to episode 20 of the Tom and Gerry show. Among the longest I've ever stuck with anything.
Good man. Good man. My nail nearly hung out for the 20th episode. Technically it did, but I lost the rag last night with a chair. It had to go. Just for you, we're down to that ugly.
Let's get a look at it.
That's that ugly little thing there now.
Tom.
Still fairly ignorant.
Yeah, but that's it. Ladies and gentlemen of the listenership of the Tom and Gerry show. By the way, hello, I'm Gerry McBride. He's Tom O'Mahony. For those of you, if you're only joining us here on episode 20, Tom hit his hand with a hammer there a couple of months ago, and the nail has been slowly falling off. This is what we get up to on the Tom and Gerry show, so it is.
That's the highlight of it all. I tell you, no, do you know what? I'm in great form. I'm actually in great form. As of this morning, First Fix Electrics finished. As of the other day, First Fix Plumbing. Shout out. I'm going to give a shout out to my two tradesmen that have, and they're in no way sponsoring this, Dale Foley Electrics and Marquez Plumbing. Beautiful work. Beautiful. Couldn't be happier. Albeit when you have me with my moustache breathing down your neck, standing over you, handing you your own spirit level going, are you going to make that straight? Do you know, I can understand why the boys wanted to get the job done, not to be having to look at my head. I get it. But
you get it, Tom. And I got to tell you, the nail is coming along lovely. I know you showed it to me on an audio medium. So let me paint you all a picture. The nail is tooth-like in nature. It is like a little baby tooth.
But it's like a baby tooth that hasn't been maintained. It's got a weird, I don't know why it's got an odd color, but I mean, it's possibly a touch of expanded foam, Ger. You know, there's
possibly a touch of infection gassing. But listen, we'll not get into it here now. We'll get into that now on the posthumous episode 24, when I'm breaking the news to anybody that I can reach within the sound of my voice that Tom has passed away. Because remember the time he walloped his hand with a hammer and it just steadily went bad for 8 straight weeks.
Fellas like me don't die of a bad finger. You just let a dog chew it off. That's what you do.
That's the title of your autobiography, Tom. Fellas like me don't die of a bad finger.
I tell you, I was trying to think of a poster for next year's tour show, and you know what? I was coming up with stupid things, but genuinely, every so often I'd hear something and go, and I swear to God,
that's the tour, Tom.
It's joke.
Tom O'Mahony, bad finger. I want a commission on that one. But listen,
swear to God, I'll do it. I'll name it bad finger.
Before you start working on that show, let's start working on this show, ladies and gentlemen. Let's launch into the show. As long-time listeners of all 20 episodes, we'll tell you we start each episode with a look at the big news of the week, Tom. You know, the scuttlebutt. We'd look at the big scandal, the schka. You know, what happened this week? What happened this week in history? Who the hell knows? Let's find out on a segment we call the Weekly What Have You.
This is a very complicated case, Maud. You know, a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous, and a lot of strands to keep in my head, man. You know.
My God. You threw this
now,
one
Tom,
this one
I have a question for you.
Yeah, go on.
I threw this one at you.
Yeah.
And it's pertinent to what you're at over there. You're building a house at the moment.
Yeah. Correct.
You've walls up.
Oh my God, you're going to do a segue.
You've the ceiling up, right?
I got pulled for doing a McBride segue on an Instagram reel the other day, and it was, in its own right, it was very McBridey. Go on with your.
Let me finish, Tom.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I've so little. You've just got to let me finish. I don't have 5 jokes for the whole hour we're going to do this show, so you got to let me go.
You have it. Go for it.
Have you?
Go on, you absolute bollocks. I know. Everybody knows what you're about to say. No, they don't. But when they hear
nobody knows what I'm about to say.
Oh my God. Go on,
Tom. You're getting the plumbing in, yes?
Correct.
And you've the slabbing underway, yes?
Yes.
What's the next thing you've got coming in your direction?
Well, no, we're watertight, Ger. We are watertight.
Oh, you are watertight.
Oh, we're watertight.
Am I late with this?
Yeah, we were watertight before I went for
Why
first
would you
fix.
slap it if you didn't? Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
go
you're
back.
telling me you've telling me, Tom, that you've already installed Windows, yes?
You're symbolics. But
Well,
that's
we're
great.
having a
I
good
love
time with
that.
this,
I
Tom,
love
right?
that. Yeah, do you know what? When
We're
you
having a
think
good time. Let's bring everybody in on the joke. The big news this week is not Tom installing Windows. It's the fact that this week, 29 years ago, we all installed Windows, Tom. That was the release of Windows 95. Can
correct.
it be so long? It was the summer that Coolio released Gangster's Paradise and Jamiroquai released Virtual Insanity, and Bill Gates, give you an idea what was going on. Bill Gates released Windows 95 and changed computing, as far as we were concerned, forever.
Yeah.
Your
I
thoughts, Tom? Let's get
as
10
you're
minutes out of this.
do you know what? I mean, it's a lot of people have probably turned off. But if you haven't, no, do you know what they haven't?
You've
They've
made it
gone,
this far, I tell you.
let's see what these two bastards do with this. Do you know what? I remember being introduced to computers it was in school, secondary school, of course. And I know there'll be
Yes.
people younger than us listening to this going, you got introduced to yes, yeah. We had computer games and whatnot, but we didn't really have functional typey computers, only in school.
Computers.
There was no laptops knocking around. There was no, but all I have a big picture of was the buttons had more travel on them than one, like the kind of button you'd have to hit in an emergency stop of a machine. There was like an inch of travel on the buttons of chukunk, chukunk. They were up there with a typewriter. The actual,
It was up there with like an oil derrick. Like you had to really pound the button down in.
it was like you were trying to prime the engine of something, of a two-stroke engine on a generator. Well, this is we're getting really fucking niche now, Gerard. Jesus Christ, I
This is
think.
getting this, yeah. This is niche upon niche. But here's
But
the thing, Tom.
I could never see him. I genuinely, I was an owl fella at the time, maybe thinking 14 with owl fella thoughts. I remember thinking, going, what's this bullshit? We won't need these.
I honestly, we're going to bring everybody up to speed, okay? Because like I said, me and Tom are the protagonists of life. You know, we're in our 40s now, so a lot of what you find folks take for granted, your cell phones and your internet and all this kind of crack, like we were there at the cold face of it. Like we were perhaps not early adopters, but we were there. And we were there when Windows 95 was released.
Mm.
Now, I couldn't really explain to you or any of the listeners of the Tom and Jerry show what Windows 95 really is, but it was what made your computer go. Like, you had a computer, yeah, but like it wouldn't really do anything, or it wouldn't do it good or fast. And it was getting into a world where computers needed to be good and fast. Like, the internet was coming along. CD drives were coming along. CDs weren't really a thing on computers yet, Tom. And Bill Gates and all his buddies in Microsoft sat down and said, okay, our new operating system, Windows 95, is going to change all that.
Here's the thing. For the most part, did you give me a thumbs up? Is there a thumbs up after popping up on the screen? Did you do that? Have you got AI
No,
turned on
I
or something? Oh my God. A thumbs
I
up
don't think
bubble
so.
just popped up. Oh my God, it's popped up again.
Oh, I see it there, yeah.
What's that about? Are you
I
pressing
don't,
it?
no, I'm not. I think when I give a
My,
thumbs up, it gives a thumbs up. Yeah, look at
anyway,
that.
this is how far we've
Any
come.
rate,
I'll tell you why I probably didn't regard it as highly as kids are going, oh, what? You didn't think it could be? They were a bag of shite, lads. And this is the reality
yeah.
comparative to today's. So if you're sitting down in front of you, well, like I am now, I have this giant apple named after a mountain range in America thingy. It works as fast and faster than I can think and want it to do. Windows 95, our brains back then were pretty much the same brains as inside your head. The bastard thing had these buttons, like I said, that you'd pretty much punch. It had Word, and for all intents and purposes,
Office.
you'd Office, Excel, and whatnot. You'd nearly type the shagging thing on a typewriter as fast as this yoke could work.
Well,
I
do you know what
get,
I'm
I get it. You could go and print it out if the printer could, fire up and warm up and do everything else. Printers haven't actually advanced at all. That's at all. I'm still having
like?
arguments with my printer, but
There's a couple of things here, Tom. Like the early computers that I would have used at school, the Wang 386, don't you know?
I just can't not
All
hear
right.
Wang. I can't not hear Wang and think.
This is even like before your Intels and your Pentiums. But like they had green screens. They had black screens with green writing on them. They looked like big Game Boy screens. That's how old we're talking. And if you wanted to do anything on them, if you
Neo
wanted to
stuff, like
run
straight out of
programs on,
Neo. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. If you wanted to do anything, like you had to know prompts. Like you
yeah,
literally had to type in like a
yeah.
hack, and it was like C prompt, run this, all this kind of shit. And then like Windows 95, I felt came along and was just like, nah, just like click that button there that says start, and a thing pops up and pick what you want, and that's it, and it
And
goes. Now
and
there
that
was Windows before, but Windows 95 was like, oh right, oh okay, ah,
That's it. Like
ah,
there was a thing I do that was the jump in all fairness because I had to kind of look
yeah,
backwards to look forward because that was my first intro was Windows 95. But when I kind of saw what it was prior to that, I could appreciate it. I went, oh, okay, you literally had to be a programmer to run a computer, and now
exactly.
your average, you know, idiot from the country slash for the want of a less oldie worldy time, but your average housewife could run the computer of the family and keep her finances in check. So it
And
was it
keep
was very
finances, and
it was much more
the
user friendly.
shopkeeper could like do his accounts on it, or some such. So this was really the big jump from no computers to computers.
Yeah, yeah. So I could appreciate what it was doing, but looking backwards at it, it was almost like there was a thing called, now you can build a website with Squarespace or you can build a
Yes,
website with
yes,
all these.
yes.
There was a thing prior to that called Dreamweaver, and you literally to
Okay.
build, but you had to.
Dreamweaver.
Yeah, I think that was the tune actually. I'm nearly sure that's the
There you
tune.
go.
But you literally needed to know all the prompts to
Yeah,
build
all
a
this shit. Yeah.
page. Oh my God, it was an absolute nightmare. But then these ones came on, these were the leg up. So I suppose Windows 95 opened it to your average Joe or Josephine having a computer at home because there was no point prior to that. You were wasting, they were good for nothing. You know what I mean?
It wasn't for you. It
No,
wasn't for you. It took it out of the hands of the nerds and put it. Here's the thing, Tom. Here's why we remember Windows 95 more than anything else. I
yeah,
remember they sold the fuck out of this thing for a solid year. You could not move for advertising for Windows 95 for a whole year. Forget about it. They had like the Rolling Stones song. They were playing this on TV like it was Coca-Cola. Like it was like when the Coca-Cola truck comes into your town at Christmas. That was what the Windows 95 ad came on. And it was, if you start me up, and the Rolling Stones are coming on, and there's getting Windows 95 everywhere. Tom, at the time, the biggest stars on the planet were the cast of Friends, and Microsoft had enough money to get two of them, Matthew Perry and Jennifer Aniston, to star in a feature long, like Windows tutorial video.
mother of God. Like that's like getting
As as
Hulk
their
Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior to do it, essentially at the time. That's
and it was like they didn't give this away, Tom. They sold this in shops. The Guide to Windows 95, starring Matthew Perry and Jennifer Aniston, and they were all they couldn't say that it was Chandler and Rachel, but they fucking looked the same. And I've watched a bit of it online. I'll try and put some of it up, and it is goddamn watch. It's unbelievable. Like your man Matthew Perry pouring out on the concrete farm, but like he's in the depths of something now. He's
oh, is he?
he's
He's
quite
right.
twitchy, is all we'll
Yeah,
say. He's quite all this kind of crack.
yeah.
Um, and Jennifer Aniston is pretending she doesn't know what a computer is. And there's no laugh track, and the jokes do not land.
Jesus Christ. But it doesn't really matter, does it? Like, I mean, you've thrown enough money at it. They were superstars at the time. So it would push you over the line if you were like, well, actually picked two great characters from that. Because
Yeah,
if they picked Schwimmer, you go, nobody likes him. But everybody liked Matthew Perry's character. Everybody liked
everybody liked Matthew Perry.
Jennifer
And
Aniston's character.
it was the kind of thing, Tom, where I was like, people watching this would be like, huh, all right. Well, I suppose in a toss up between that and doing sums on my fingers, yeah, I will get Windows 95.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I suppose it opened the doorway immediately to everything else. The laptops rolled in, then now your phone links to your everything. Then
Oh, yeah.
Apple had to fire up, had to get going. But so it was mad to see the likes of Steve Jobs as the CEO of a company out front of house, giving a big TED
I
talk.
think someone can, retcon us on this one, Tom, but like when they were launching Windows 95, 1995. Bill Gates was
Bill
out front
Gates.
and
Yeah, yeah.
center. Like
Sorry, Bill Gates.
Bill
Yes, not
Gates was
Steve
out
Jobs,
front
of
and
course.
center with it. There's a video I gotta post it as well. He's out with his like at the launch party, which is this big, huge thing in Las Vegas or wherever it was, and he brings out his CEO, Steve Ballmer, this other little baldy dude, and they're playing the Rolling Stones, and the lads are like rocking
Oh, I
out on
saw it.
stage.
Oh my God.
Have you seen it? And it's the saddest thing you've ever seen in
That
your life,
is
right?
all the money in the world cannot buy you good rhythm. My
It absolutely cannot.
Jesus, that is absolutely criminal. Like the
But
lads are just scandalous, like dancing to that. But at that
but
stage,
like
you're kind of going, you know what? It's like the Emperor's new clothes. Everybody's going to give him a high five and give him a round of applause.
and that's just it. But I think like I want to say like that was the start off of like the tech CEO boss becoming like the spokesperson for the company. And then in a couple of years' time, you had Steve Jobs out waving iPods around the place. Like, who would have cared about this thing beforehand? The CEO of Bosch doesn't come out and show you a new washing machine. If he
No,
does, it doesn't make the news. I tell you that much.
and I think it set precedent for a lot of TV shows that had fellas like this show up, like the Iron Man showing up, being
Yeah,
Tony Stark. Oh, he's front and center. Then Musk showed up, he's front and center of his tech company. Then
yeah.
you've all these fellas like Jeff Bezos. Oh, you were getting out. Normally, them fellas stayed out of the firing line. They were like, push forward any good looking people we have there. I'm just gonna stay in the back,
Exactly.
But
And I want to feel like, that they've had like a lifetime of being like computer dorks and nerds and one thing and another. And then it was like, actually, you know what? No, I've got Matthew Perry and the Rolling Stones money. I'm going to go out there and dance in a polo short. Badly.
and as
People will buy it.
And look at as a direct result, I think Bill Gates, is he the biggest landowner now in America? I think he is. So he sold enough windows. Um,
Bill Gates is a divisive character politically. How about that?
yeah, he do. Yeah, I don't know much about the man, but anything I seem to read seems to be a strange cat. Whatever's going on there.
He's it's I gotta tell you, money and computers doesn't mix, Tom. That's why we're sticking with just computers.
Hey, as we close off with this, why is it a floppy disk, Gerry, when they're never flopped? I never saw one flop. The hard little square yolks. Actually, they weren't even a disc. They were like a little, like a little, about the size of a flower. Do you know why they're called floppy disks?
I do, Tom. It's not funny, but I can tell you.
Ah, go on then.
The inside of it's floppy.
Ah,
What you're
bollocks.
looking at is what you're looking at is not the disc. It's not round, is it, Tom? It's square, isn't it?
Yeah. So why?
The
So it's
disc is
round
the
on the
round
inside.
part inside it, and it's floppy
Jesus.
as fuck, buddy.
Only a nerd would go. Actually, when they design it, they come.
You asked me, buddy.
No, I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming them for go. Like, why wouldn't you give it a new name, like, or just call it the memory card? Call it a memory card for what it is. It's a giant memory
Yeah,
card,
yeah, yeah.
rather than going. Well, if you knew what was actually on the on the inside, it's actually a floppy disk, which is a worse shit name. Give it the actual an official title. You know what I mean? Give it an official
Yeah,
title.
the square bit you're looking at is more like a cartridge to protect the floppy disk within. So it's kind of like if someone showed you a round of ammunition and called it a bullet. Like you'd be like, well, no, that bit at the top is the bullet.
Don't
That's
try
the
and
bit
make
that
this. Whoa, whoa,
fires.
whoa, whoa, whoa! Don't you try and make this
You
cool.
know.
No, 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 no. No. That's it, Jer. That's it. I'm gonna bring bullets and megs into this. No, 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 no. Windows 95. I haven't that many in the house, but Christ Almighty, but the price of them, you'd nearly think I did. You nearly think
Well,
I
there
did.
you go. Well, there
Windows
you go, Tom.
95.
Folks, as normal, we say, what was your experience with Windows 95? Were you in computer class like we were? I remember when we were
What
in computer
anniversary
class,
was it? What anniversary was it, Jer?
29th anniversary. Yeah, I
29th
couldn't hold out for the
anniversary.
30th. I just couldn't sit on this one for another year.
Oh God, I know.
Uh,
Yeah,
one last thing I will say from computer class, we had mice
mice.
with balls in them, with the tracker balls
Yes.
in them,
Yeah, we used to
and
take them out.
we were warned, like we were told in assembly, do not unspool the bottom of the mouse and take the ball out of it just so you can have a ball to throw around it, because that ball
Oh,
doesn't bounce. It's a little hard thing. It's like chalk more than anything else, so it's useless for you for bouncing purposes. And mices are £50 a piece per euro. So
yeah.
we'll give you ping pong balls if you stop robbing the balls out of the mice.
Oh, I wish they had had that at our assembly. Just too late. Too late. Somebody got.
Basil, what can we
Yeah,
say?
yeah. There you are.
Well, Tom, funny to say, okay, we're done with Windows 95, but we're not done with 1995 because there's a link
Good year.
to Windows 95, actually the year 1995, and our next segment, which long-time listeners of all 20 episodes will know. It's when we take a look at not necessarily the hero of the week, not
Mhm.
the central character of the week, not the champion of the week,
The
but more
protagonist
like,
of the week.
yeah, he's just like the guy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He's
Hmm.
the man. He's this lad.
Now there's that guy.
Yeah. And by God, a good this lad when you go back through the anthology of the butterfly effect that a lad can have on a situation. Um, chap's name is Owen Teague. I'm nearly sure
Yes.
it's Owen Teague. And I heard this story a couple of years ago, and I couldn't believe that no more had come from it. I remember thinking, but what, how did? But
This is it. And
the sleuths of today got to the bottom of it.
do you know what I'm going to tell you, Tom? It's we give out about the Chinese an awful lot around here, but TikTok is what brought this one back up this week. There's been mutterings of this. I've heard some version of this story down through the years. But we're going to bring people up to
Hold
speed with
on,
it.
do we give out about the Chinese?
We'll give
I
it out
don't.
about TikTok, don't we?
I don't know. I
You know,
didn't get the.
TikTok is like just farming all your data and sending it to China.
Oh, I know that, but I didn't realize we give out about the Chinese. Are we? To,
Oh, you're not sure
I
about
can.
sending your
No,
data to China?
it's not that. But we haven't been giving out about the Chinese. I don't think. But I'm happy to step it up if that's what we're doing. I'll
Or
row in
maybe I've
behind.
just been giving. I mean, I've been doing some freelance Chinese giving out over here. Regardless of which. So yeah, the story why we're staying in 1995 is 1995 was the debut year, not just of Coolio and who else did I say up there? Jamiroquai. It was another band made their appearance in 1995. Tom, do you know who it is?
Nirvana.
Well, no, they're pertinent to this
No,
story, buddy.
sorry. Foo Fighters. I beg your pardon.
There
Yeah,
you go.
I jumped the gun.
There you go. Okay, so keep that in mind because
Pardon the
that's
pun
going to
there,
come back
Gerry.
around us.
I jumped the gun. Which is what he could have done, really. It would have been a safer option.
Maybe
Yes,
that's
you're
what he
right.
was trying to do, Tom.
The Foo
Come
Fighters
here.
were born 1995. Great year. Rugby went professional in 1995. Lovely year. I remember it was a good summer, if I remember correctly, as well. But anyway, yes, Owen
It
Teague.
was a great summer. Owen Teague. Now we call him Tig up our way.
I don't know. I'm Teague. Teague typically with
Just saying.
T-A, first name
Yeah.
T-A-D-G-H. But Teague. Anyway, Owen. I would say Teague
I know,
because
but I never said we pronounce everything right in Monaghan, Tom.
Oh no, you don't. And I'm letting you off on an awful lot of things these days. But look at
You just don't. Well, listen, let's get into it anyway. So Owen Teague has a cousin called Lorcan Dunn, and Lorcan Dunn has held a story for 30 years about meeting a famous person while hitchhiking around the Beara Peninsula. And like we've all got a pal that saw somebody famous and was talking to them, and we're like, yeah,
for
sure, you
God's
did.
sake, yeah.
You know,
It's
like I knew a boy who went to Los Angeles, and he told me, oh yeah, and and the next thing I rounded the corner and there was Clint Eastwood, and I had a chat with him. And I was like,
oh yeah,
yeah, you're more likely to have done it, yes, there than you were in Emmyvale, but at the same time, I don't
yeah.
know, right?
You cut it out for God's sake. And listen, there's no harm. I think at one point, I could have convinced myself that I ran into Charlie Sheen. He has a flat tire outside of Care one evening, but I don't think it was him. To be fair, I don't think it
No,
was him. But it's not a story that I
then
ran
again,
far with. Could have been
could
Charlie
have
Sheen with a
been,
burst tire.
it could have been going with what we're going with this, right?
Yeah.
So that young gentleman, Lorcan Dunn, cousin of Owen Teague, they all come back together at the end. He claimed that he had seen while hitchhiking in the Beara Peninsula in Kerry in 1994, ahead of the debut of the band in 1985, that the car pulled over to pick him up, and in the passenger seat or driving was soon to be frontman of the Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl.
Formerly drummer of Nirvana, Dave Grohl.
Yes.
Yes. Played the devil
Recently unemployed drummer of Nirvana.
played the devil with Tenacious D a couple of times on stage as well during that song, the tribute.
Better times.
Better Times.
So here's where TikTok comes into it, Tom, because they resurfaced an interview with Dave Grohl from years upon years ago on TikTok. Just the TikTok voice came on. It was like, Dave Grohl tells the story of how he was driving in Ireland and it informed the band, the Foo Fighters. And Dave Grohl is there on. I can't see what he's on, Tom, but it looks to my eyes to be like the Howard Stern show from back in the day.
Yes, that's what I thought it was too. Yeah.
It
I
looks
thought
like
it was
that
Howard
kind of
Stern.
set, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's just that just the way that he's facing, like facing this way, that's Letterman. Facing this way, that's Stern.
Yes.
The couch is
yeah,
to the
yeah,
right
yeah,
of Stern,
yeah,
not
yeah,
the,
yeah.
to the left of Stern as he looks here. Regardless, we're fucking rambling here, buddy. But Dave Grohl told a story that he was driving around all lost and sad sack after Nirvana split up. Didn't know whether he wanted to stay in music or get his dental license or whatever the hell he was going to, whatever the future laid out for Dave Grohl.
Well, he was in Kerry. I mean, he could have been, a dolphin handler. Do you know? So
Yeah, or a basket weaver or
yeah,
something else.
he was driving the Ring of Kerry, wasn't he?
Yes, correct and right. Lovely drive if you're on the fence, not for nothing.
Beautiful, beautiful drive.
So the interview's 20, 25 years old, whatever it is. But it comes back up every now and then on TikTok. That's just engagement farming for you, Tom. People just post these old things. And that's, I think, where my man Lorcan Dunn saw it again. It was like, if I was him, honestly, I'd be ringing the lads and going, I fucking told you I met Dave Grohl. I told you I met Dave Grohl.
So was it Lorcan or was it Owen that met him?
Lorcan was doing the hitchhiking. Owen is the guy who has a Twitter account who shared the story this week gone by. So yeah, a bit of stolen valor there, Owen, but nevertheless.
No, dead right.
You didn't meet Dave Grohl, buddy.
Yeah. But at the same time, why not, throw a rope around that wagon?
Lad. How about that?
Yeah.
You're the vice this lad for this thing. And the funny thing about the whole thing is like, yeah, so what? You met Dave Grohl. Boom, you went on about your business. You know, I met The Rock. You don't hear me talking about it once every 6 weeks.
What now?
You kind of do, though. Oh, yeah. Go back to the archives there, folks. Any rate, Dave Grohl was saying in this Howard Stern interview, we're assuming it's Howard Stern, that he pulled up to let this lad into the car, which, somewhat suspect, Tom, but mid-90s, maybe you weren't.
Oh, 100%. Because I didn't hear that part of the interview. What I heard was that he just saw this lad because he'd been dandering and back.
No, he
and
pulled
forth.
up to pick him up.
Fair enough, because in my head I was going, wait, now did you give the lad a fucking lift if he was thumbing? Do you know, like, he hadn't he been dandering back and forth in his head, but do I give up music? Because Nirvana had come to a very abrupt end. If you'll know the history of that one, you can. If you don't, go
very sudden end there.
But look at Kurt brought the curtain down that fairly quick, and P45s were given around to all the boys very quickly. So Dave was scratching his head, driving around the south of Ireland, going, "What am I to do with myself? To hell with this music business." Until he saw Lorcan Dunn tumming on the Ring of Kerry. Best of luck getting somebody to stop on those bends. But anyway, Dave Grohl did, and he had a gander at what that boy was wearing in the arsehole.
Lo and behold, what was Lorcan Dunn wearing there, Tom?
He was wearing the Nirvana. Was it Kurt Cobain was on it? It was Kurt Cobain was actually on the t-shirt.
And I remember seeing this t-shirt in the Gaeltacht. It was sort of like a black and white, sort of weathered, stripy looking t-shirt with like Kurt Cobain's face on it. And the funny here's what I'm gonna need to see a little more of it. He didn't pick him up. He didn't give him a lift.
That's what my thing. He pulled up and drove off, the bastard.
He saw the face of Kurt Cobain staring back at him, and in Dave Grohl's words, he was, "Oh, that's when I realized that even in the arsehole of nowhere, my words, not his, even in the arsehole of nowhere, I couldn't escape, what my legacy was. I couldn't escape the shadow of Nirvana. So the only thing I could do was go back to Los Angeles and get back to work. And that's when I went back and created the Foo Fighters." And it sounds to me like he just saw the face on the t-shirt, and it was like the Kill Bill sirens. It was like,
yeah.
And then, and then he just sunk the boot and spun off in a cloud of dust.
We
Just
need
leaving
to
Lorcan Dunn just standing on the side of the road going like, was that fucking Dave Grohl?
we need the full story out of Larkin Dunn, because if the bollocks left him sitting on the side of the road, I'll tell you one thing, if he's not, because he would seem to be a lovely fella these days, or at least he puts on a good show, like he'll bring a lad on stage to play guitar or whatever and sing a song
Yes.
with him, or if he's in a certain place, he'll sing Come Out Ye Black and Tans, whatever he wants you to sing. He seems
I,
to
I,
be
I like Dave Grohl. I have a lot of time for Dave Grohl.
a
As
nice
far
old
as I have
devil.
time for anybody.
But like, I'd say had he picked him up, either Stern or the interview, whoever it was, maybe they were just lax and they went, "Oh wow, that's the moral of the story." Like, you and I could not leave it there. We'd go, and do you leave the young
Yeah.
fella on the road, or do you bring him into town? Like, that's what I
Yeah, did you
couldn't.
drop him up the way or what's the...
I couldn't leave it there, but your man left it there. So, and Grawl didn't bring it any further because he would just. Or do you know the way
No.
the Americans love it, loving, a big hoo ha of a story, like, and that sort of bit of it. And then I brought the lad into town. That bit wouldn't. Oh, that wouldn't stick well at all. At all. But for me and you, it's like,
No, it
wait,
seemed
no,
to, yeah, it seemed a bit
that's the most
odd. Yeah.
important bit, actually. Did you bring the lad in?
Yeah.
Because if you did, fair sound. If you didn't, slightly tainted my impression of you,
Yeah, work
David
on
Grohl.
it.
Work on it. Like,
But there you go. But Owen sewed it together. He seems to have social media savvy. Could make a video splicing together the two stories, one from Lorcan and one from Dave Grohl, and put it out on Twitter. So yes, you know what, Owen, we're going to give you a co-chair here this week with this lad, but it really has to go to your cousin Lorcan Dunn, who I rest assured, Tom, has been telling the story of meeting Dave Grohl in the Ring of Kerry for 30 years, would not a sin or soul believe in him.
oh, I tell you now,
But he
he
was
has
right.
that on. He has that on the phone, walking into the pub, going, "Now you shower of bastards." You know what? Can I cast this up to the phone, up to the telly behind the bar, and throw it up there? This interview, ye shower of bastards, all laughing at me.
What do you think is a bigger feather in your cap, Tom? To have been the nucleus at the creation of one of this generation's finest rock and roll bands, beloved the world over, or to have been right.
Right, actually, yeah, the stubbornness
Yeah,
in me has
right.
to be,
Every
yeah,
time.
yeah. You have to be, yeah,
Every time. I
yeah.
fucking told you that was Dave Grohl.
Oh, couldn't give
So,
a shit if the band died on their hole.
yeah,
Couldn't give a shit.
get the pints in. I told you I seen Dave Grohl. And he's this lad as well. Big week for Owen Ty and his cousin Lorcan Dunn. Big week.
Fair play to you guys. But Grawl, if you
There you
can get
go.
in contact and let us know if you did actually. I mean, if Owen or Lorcan want to get in contact too, great. But also, we'll accept Grawl if you want to give us a shout and just let us know if you actually dropped the lad up the way, or did you burn rubber and just leave him standing on the side of the road with a big ignorant bollocks of a head in you. Much
Also,
appreciated.
Dave Grohl, if you're listening, get in touch. Where did you get the rental car, Sunshine? Did you get a rental car at Dublin Airport and drive it down to the Ring of Kerry? I got to tell you, brother, it's a tough drive.
Yeah, that's a costly one. That's a costly one. I'd say probably
That's
Cork.
that's rough.
Probably Cork. I'd say. Do you know? But
Idle
yeah, that's
speculation, notwithstanding, Tom. We can speculate on that, but you know what we're not going to do, buddy? We're not going to have a row about it.
no, we are, because we're gonna have a row.
My attitude is don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
We're gonna have a row and a
We're
proper
going to have a
row.
row. Okay, not about
Well,
that, but let's have a row about something, buddy.
no, we're having a proper row now, because for the last couple of weeks now we've been too cordial all together. We've been like, yeah, Gerry, yeah, Tom, yeah, and we just going after things that we need to give out about. We're in this particular occasion. I'm swigging a fine big mug of coffee, and I believe
Very nice.
you are off the caffeine altogether.
I am swigging a fine big mug of tea.
Yeah, but
It
you're
just so happens to be peppermint tea.
for the love. I knew it. I knew I could smell it over. I could smell it. Peppermint tea.
Here's the thing, Tom.
Are you on your
I,
period?
I, I, I
What's wrong? Like peppermint tea.
well, is it your period? I've said it to you this past couple of weeks that I've been trying to shake the caffeine, and long-term listeners will know that I came in a couple of episodes cranky as fuck because
Yeah.
I didn't have my caffeine in me. And this week, Tom, I finally feel, just over the weekend, I finally feel I got the monkey off my back. I was at AC/DC on Saturday night with the wee man. And that was a great show altogether, but I didn't want to have to use the Jackson Croke Park, and I'll tell you, I was wise about that decision. Uh, I was just like, I don't want to. And then I woke up on Sunday morning afterwards and I had a big sleep and I was too late and blah, blah. And I had no coffee for 2 days and I had no coffee today. And I feel like I've bust through what do you call the barrier, the wall? What do you call it when you're going to cold turkey?
How about a
The
whole pile of
net.
shut up? How about that? What are you talking about? Jesus Christ, Gerry. What is wrong with you? Why would you cut caffeine out of your life? Like, there's so many, there's actually benefits to it. I just typed in benefits to coffee. Improve overall health. Do you need to hear any more? I will tell you more, even if you don't.
Yeah, please go on, keep going.
Protect against type 2 diabetes, control Parkinson's disease symptoms, slow the progress of dementia, safeguard the liver, promote heart health, reduce melanoma risk. I know it's Ireland. And look, probably much like the first one, it'll lower mortality risk. I mean, lower mortality risk. Understood that, okay, if you don't walk out into the middle of traffic, that's lowering mortality risk too. But at the same time, Gerry, what are you doing? Who are you trying to impress? Who are you trying to
Well,
impress?
do you know, Tom, when you put it like that, that's been the Tom and Jerry show, ladies and gentlemen. You can like us on follow us on Instagram. The man makes a compelling argument once in a while.
No more to be said. Oh,
No, I'm gonna tell you one thing, Tom. I'm gonna tell you one thing, okay? It's 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 not the drinking of the coffee. You're not gonna believe this, Tom.
Oh,
You're not gonna
Jesus.
believe the borderman's gonna tell you this now. It's not the drinking of the coffee that annoys me so much. It's the paying for the damn stuff, all right?
Oh,
Because
yes,
it's
I
getting
get
like
you.
it's
Yeah.
getting like when you're out and about and you're having a coffee, it's like buying a pack of cigarettes. It's like you don't get much change out of a fiver for a coffee. So it's not like, yeah, I'll have a coffee and it's €2. It's got so good it's gotten so goddamn expensive. Like it's the price of a lunch to have a cup of coffee. And I was out all last week. I was in town all every day last week and I got a coffee every day. And at the end of the week, I looked at the card and I was like, what the hell did I spend €32 on?
I know I will
Coffee.
100% concede with you there. 100%. Coffee is bananas. Like
It is crazy.
it's heading for a pint.
It's
It's
heading for the
heading
price of a pint, yes.
like I will like I not that I argue with people, but I know a person who has a coffee shop, and I was like, I know you're keeping up with the Joneses and everything, and I'm sure you have rates and everything else, but can you justify it? And they were like, well, it's the price of all the other coffee shops that are coming up, and everything has gotten expensive for us. I said, but do you see how mad it is that you can buy your product in a bag, walk around with it, throw it in a grinder, and add water and oat milk or whatever it is, and not justifying the price of a pint, but a pint has to come from a brewery in a steel keg, has to be rolled off by an angry fellow with his arse hanging out.
Work has to be done.
Work has to be done to get this, and then has to pump through it. And like, I'm just saying,
And
you can put yours in the boot of the car from
yeah.
the cash and carry.
And I don't begrudge anybody that's trying to make a living.
No,
And I
100%.
understand that the cost of everything's gone up and so on and so forth. But like it's kind of pricing me out of the market, Tom. Like I just can't justify going spending a fiver a day on coffee. I just can't. Okay. So I could make coffee at home. Yes, I could. Maybe I will. But while I'm making it at home, I could also make just a cup of peppermint tea. And it
No, no,
will
no, 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 no,
settle the
no.
guts down and
Oh, for the love of Jesus. Right.
because that's the thing. Okay, Tom, I'm gonna tell you this now. Okay, it's real talk. This is between you, me, and the 57 listeners of the Tom and Jerry show, right?
We have more than that, Jar. We actually, I'm very happy to say we have a lot more than that. We actually do.
Okay, I'm just gonna put it on Front Street. Every now and then, you'll buy a coffee and drink it, and it will make you want to shit yourself.
Now, here's the thing. A good coffee first thing in the morning will help the scenario. But I know what you're talking about. See, there's nearly two arguments here, right? You're talking about buying it out. I'll buy no more coffees out there. I swear to God, the amount of disappointment I'll get. It's one thing if you charge me 370 or something and 420 and I'm going, Jesus Christ. But it's an absolute home run. Home run of a coffee. And only one, as it turns out, I now know the owner because I had to ask. I went, Jesus Christ, this is the only one I don't feel like I've had a saddle thrown on me or,
Yeah.
Inappropriately groped as a result of paying for a coffee. It's a coffee place called Fetch Coffee, independent. Their coffee is exactly as class, strong, and it's really nice. But the amount of coffee I'll get, and it is utter shit. And they're
Oh,
looking for
author,
top
yeah.
dollar for it. So I 100% I'm with you on that one. But I have the old espresso at home.
Yeah.
You can't go too far wrong with that. It's
Yeah,
coming
I
in
mean,
it's coming
but
in
that's, yeah,
about I would say about 45 cents a cup. And I'm okay with
and
that.
that's okay. Like, I don't mind that. And when I have it at home, that's all right. But like, so far, like, my two main arguments with coffee are it's too expensive. And I don't know from one coffee to the next if I am or I'm not going to fucking fill my pants full of doo doo.
Yeah, you're drinking some rough coffee if it's your if you need a Pampers when you go out. Do you know what I mean?
I'm telling you, people, you listeners of the Tom and Jerry show, back me up on this, okay?
It sounds like you
And that's
you need
before
backing up,
that's
Ger.
before the health
Maybe some
episode.
roughage in your diet might be maybe where you need to start. Maybe some fiber, some potatoes with their skins on, maybe some brown rice. Just saying,
No
maybe start
lies,
with
no
Weetabix in the
lies, no
morning, lad.
lies. I've been told here, Tom. No lies. I've been told here. Um, but here's the thing, okay? Open your mind, Tom, okay? If you don't like peppermint tea, maybe you like green tea, maybe you like rooibos tea. Rooibos tea is nice. You know what the drink down your way, Tom? Hot orange.
Hot orange. What are you
Yeah,
talking
is
about?
that
Hot
maybe that's
orange.
further down into Cork to get hot orange, which is just like heated up my waddy orange.
Sounds Protestant.
Are
I
you
don't know
familiar
what's
with
going on
this?
here. I don't know. No. I'll tell you now, Ger.
Hot orange is the football special of the Southwest. I'm gonna look that up, okay? So if you're down there swigging a flask of hot orange of hot my waddy, then you'll forgive me drinking like a rhubarb, which is a nice sort of fruity kind of nice
Yeah.
tea. You
I've
get
had
ginseng teas, Tom. There's teas up and
I've
down the
had
road
all
here.
these teas. I tried the Robush. I have a box of the stuff inside straight from South Africa. I've tried the chamomile tea thing with the whole, when you're building a house, you're doing all other things, your brain won't stop going. And I was given this chamomile tea by the old lady about a month or two ago. She says, that'll knock you right out. I says, will it now? Oh, will it? Well, I'll tell you something, Jer. It didn't knock me. I fell asleep, as I suppose I was going to fall asleep. It did no good at all. But I had the weirdest dreams I've ever had. It did absolutely. I think I was locked inside in a fish shop or something. I don't know what kind of
Yeah.
carry on. I've taken CBD tablets to knock me out, to calm me out, and to cool me down, and they work. But that old chamomile tea stuff, look, horses for courses. There's a place for everything. But there's no way you're going to convince me that cutting out caffeine is a good thing. If it was keeping you awake at night, then I'd say, okay, Jerry, don't have one after 6 o'clock in the evening. But at the same time, get yourself going with the coffee at home. You know it. If you're at home on a Saturday morning and there's say herself is taking the kids out to do a thing and you're just chilling, are you telling me that you don't, in your jocks, want to walk around the house with an old cup of Joe, just that inner cowboy inside you just smells it, and you just look around and go, nobody's watching. I'm going to eat a chocolate bar at breakfast time. Nobody's watching. To hell with it. And you're going to chocolate and coffee, sitting down, just scratching yourself, watching the kind of rubbish you want to watch. With the bathrobe is flapping open. Nobody's getting this. You know what I mean? You can just be an
The man
obnoxious person
makes a
all by yourself.
compelling argument, ladies and gentlemen. It must be said. We'll see how we do off the coffee for a little while. I could be back screaming in its virtues by the time we roll around to next Thursday's episode. Uh, but between now and then, fall out over coffee. But do like, share, and subscribe to the Tom and Jerry Show. You can find us on Twitter at Tom and Jerry Show. You'll find him at Tom_O'Mahony, me at Gerry McBride, and also get us on Instagram as well for that. And I will throw up the Dave Grohl interviews and a few other bits and pieces, including the results of the Sillage Rock poll, which should be out by next week.
You do. And if you have if you have met somebody famous, perhaps your butterfly effect changes the course of history. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you found the burst tire of a future president of America. Who knows? Maybe you wouldn't serve, I don't know, a wrestler in a bar or something, and he went on to still have a great career somewhere. Who knows? But also, what was your first interpretation of a computer? Did you want to do what I did and just throw it through a window and couldn't understand why you wouldn't let you go back to metalwork? Let us know. Maybe you knew that what was coming down the line, you invested, and now you're a billionaire. Just listen to us two idiots talking to each other in the dark. But while you're at it, would you hit subscribe on whatever platform you're on?
Yes.
Rate it as highly as you can. And sure, look it. Give us a screenshot. Let us know these things. Tag us in what Gerry talked about. Most likely, I suppose Twitter and Instagram will get us. Other than that, I'm going to have another cup of tea, and I don't care what you say.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go have another cup of peppermint tea here and deflate. That's it. Good luck.
Look.